Imagine this. The most powerful secret to restoring strong, lasting erections has nothing to do with pills, surgeries, or expensive treatments. Instead, it comes from something so simple, so ordinary that you've overlooked it your entire life. Sounds unbelievable, right? But it's absolutely true. Gentlemen, the real difference between a weak, unreliable erection and a firm, dependable one often comes down to nothing more than water. And if you've been drinking it the wrong way, you may have been quietly sabotaging your performance without even realizing it. My name is Dr. Hui Min, a urologist. For more than 30 years, I've dedicated my career to helping men just like you, reclaim their confidence, vitality, and sexual health. Over the years, I've witnessed firsthand that the smallest daily habits, the ones most men ignore, can create the biggest changes in the way your body performs. Here's the paradox. Everyone knows water is essential for life, but almost no man realizes that the way he drinks it directly impacts his ability to perform. It may sound impossible, but the science is crystal clear. The way you drink water can influence blood flow, testosterone levels, and even your overall energy. That's why I'm making you a promise today. If you follow what I'm about to share, you can naturally boost your erections by as much as 93%. No prescriptions, no tricks, just water used the right way. In just a few minutes, I'll reveal 4 simple water drinking habits that most men have never even heard of. But once you apply them, you'll notice the difference in your energy, your confidence, and yes, even in the bedroom. Stay with me because what you're about to discover could change everything. Before we dive in, if you haven't already, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you'll never miss another tip designed to help men over 60 stay strong, confident, and healthy. And I'd love to hear from you. If this video helps, type a 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 and let me know how I can serve you better. Now let's start with the foundation, why water matters more than you think. Before we talk about hormones or timing, we must first understand blood flow. Because at the end of the day, an erection is nothing more than a hydraulic event, and water is the critical fuel behind it. That's why when I sit down with men in their 60 seconds and 70 seconds who quietly admit that their erections aren't what they used to be, I ask them a question they never expect. How much water are you drinking, and how are you drinking it? At the time, they laugh thinking I'm joking. They expect me to recommend testosterone therapy or medication, not bring up something as ordinary as water. But here's the truth, more than 60% of your body is made up of water, and your penis is no exception. Every cell, every blood vessel, every nerve fiber that allows you to feel desire, arousal, and performance depends on proper hydration. Think about what an erection really is. It's not some mysterious force. It's a simple hydraulic process. Blood fills the chambers of the penis, pressure builds, and firmness takes shape. No blood flow means no erection. Weak blood flow means a weak erection. And what is blood made of more than anything else? Water. When your body is well hydrated, your blood moves like a clean, clear river, gliding smoothly through an open valley. It's light, it's fluid, and it travels quickly through your veins and arteries. Your heart doesn't need to struggle. Circulation is strong, and oxygen gets delivered exactly where it needs to be, including the delicate tissues of your penis. But when dehydration sets in, the story changes dramatically. Blood thickens, becoming sluggish and sticky. It no longer flows with ease. Suddenly, your heart has to work harder just to keep you alive, let alone power something as demanding as a strong erection. And in the very moment you need that surge of blood the most, your body simply can't respond. That's when men begin to notice. Erections aren't as firm. Stamina fades, and sometimes they disappear altogether. I've sat with patients who assumed it was just age, robbing them of their masculinity. Some even feared they were permanently broken. But often the truth was far simpler. They weren't staying hydrated, or they were drinking water in a way that actually worked against them. Once they corrected that, the change was dramatic. Energy came back, erections grew stronger, and most importantly, their confidence returned. And I want you to really let this sink in, not just as a doctor's advice, but as personal reassurance. You are not broken. Your body is capable of more than you realize. It just needs the proper foundation. So before you turn to complicated treatments or resign yourself to the idea that age is the culprit, ask a simple question. Is your blood flowing the way it's supposed to? Because if water can transform your blood, and blood is the very fuel of erections, then learning to hydrate properly might just be the most overlooked solution men have been searching for. And here's the incredible part. Hydration doesn't just affect blood flow. It also changes your hormone balance, your energy levels, and even your mood. Which brings us to the next critical piece of the puzzle, the link between hydration and testosterone. Erections aren't only about circulation, they're also about hormones. And the king of hormones, the one that drives desire, stamina, and confidence, is testosterone. Without it, everything shifts. Desire fades, energy disappears, your mood darkens, and erections lose their reliability. I've watched men in their 60 seconds and 70 seconds sit across from me wondering why they feel decades older than they actually are. And surprisingly, often the root cause wasn't age, it was dehydration, quietly lowering their testosterone levels. Here's how it happens. When your body is fully hydrated, everything works the way it should. Your organs, especially your liver and kidneys, are able to process hormones with ease. Your brain sends clear signals, and your testosterone holds steady. But the moment you slip into dehydration, it's like a breaker flips inside your body. Suddenly, survival takes over as the top priority. At that point, your body isn't thinking about performance or intimacy. It's focused on staying alive. Energy is diverted to maintaining blood pressure, controlling body temperature, and protecting only the most essential systems. And guess what? Your reproductive system doesn't even make the list. Worse still, dehydration causes a surge in cortisol, your primary stress hormone. And here's the catch, cortisol and testosterone work like a seesaw. When cortisol spikes, testosterone drops. I've seen countless men walk into my office looking drained, stressed, and disconnected from life, only to discover they weren't just dehydrated, but living in a constant storm of cortisol overload. And what does low testosterone feel like? It's exhaustion that lingers no matter how much you rest. It's a fading interest in intimacy. It's the heavy mental fog that makes even simple decisions feel overwhelming. Many men describe it as losing their spark, like a dull shadow of the man they once were. But here's the hope you need to hear. Hydration is a lever you can pull today. Drinking water the right way lowers cortisol, steadies stress, and keeps testosterone at levels that allow you to feel alive, vibrant, and yourself again. I've seen men completely rediscover their energy, their confidence, and even their sense of purpose, simply by rebalancing their hormones through hydration. That's how powerful this connection island. So the next time you feel exhausted, moody, or uninterested in intimacy, don't just blame age. Your body may simply be begging for water, begging for the chance to reset and restore. And here's the exciting part. If hydration can bring testosterone back into balance, what else can it restore? The answer lies in your energy and stamina. Because water doesn't just influence hormones, it changes the way you feel every single day. When I talk with men in their 60 seconds and 70 seconds, I hear the same phrase over and over, "Doctor, I'm just so tired." By the evening, they say there's no strength left, no drive, and no interest in intimacy. They assume it's simply the weight of age pressing them down. But time and again, I ask the same question. Are you hydrated? Because often what feels like aging is nothing more than dehydration, silently draining away their vitality. Here's the shocking truth. Losing just 1–2% of your body's water is enough to leave you fatigued, lightheaded, and unable to focus. Imagine what happens when dehydration becomes a daily habit. Picture your body like a car engine running without enough oil. The gears grind, friction builds, and performance drops until eventually everything slows to a crawl. That's exactly what dehydration does inside of you. When your cells are starving for fluid, your body simply doesn't have the energy to fuel passion, desire, or performance. And here's the reality. Your body will always choose survival first and intimacy second. I've spoken to men who were convinced they had lost their masculinity forever, who believed their fire had burned out for good. But when we look closer, the truth was surprisingly simple. They weren't broken, they were just severely thirsty. The moment they began hydrating the right way, not by guzzling huge amounts at once, but by steadily sipping water throughout the day, the change was dramatic. Afternoons felt lighter instead of draining. Energy stayed steady instead of crashing. Their thoughts became sharper, and when evening came, their body actually had the stamina and strength to respond the way it was meant to. There was no magic pill, no expensive treatment. It was just restoring the balance that nature intended all along. Fatigue doesn't only rob men of intimacy, it eats away at confidence. It makes you question yourself, doubt your abilities, and slowly retreat from moments you once looked forward to. They believe their years have caught up with them, when in reality the culprit is something as basic as not giving the body enough water to function properly. I often tell my patients, when you feel drained, It isn't just your muscles that are tired, it's your very spirit. You stop feeling fully alive. But here's the part that should give you hope: when you start hydrating consistently and correctly, your body responds faster than you think. Energy climbs. Fatigue melts away. Confidence returns. And suddenly, intimacy no longer feels like a burden. It becomes a joy again, the way it was always meant to be. So here's the critical question: if hydration can bring back your energy and sweep away the fog of fatigue, what happens when we take a closer look at how you're drinking water? Because the truth is, most men are doing it wrong, and that one mistake could be quietly stealing their performance. Over the years, I can't tell you how many men have walked into my office, leaned back proudly and said, "Doctor, I drink plenty of water." That can't be my issue. They're certain they've already solved the problem. But once I dig deeper, I discover something important. It's not always about the amount of water, it's about the way they drink it. This, gentleman, is one of the most overlooked truths about your health. You can be pouring down water every single day and still end up dehydrated where it matters most. I remember one man clearly. He was 71 years old, sharp, disciplined, healthy in many respects, but completely frustrated. He told me almost defensively that he would chug down an entire bottle of ice-cold water 2 or 3 times a day. And yet, despite all the water he was guzzling, this man still felt sluggish, drained, and disappointed with his performance in the bedroom. So I gave him one simple instruction: don't change how much water you drink, change how you drink it. Sip slowly. Spread it out during the day. Choose water that's room temperature instead of ice cold. A few weeks later, he walked back into my office, almost in disbelief. He looked at me and said, "Doctor, I never imagined such a small change could make such a huge difference, but it did." Here's why. When you chug water all at once, your body doesn't have the time to absorb it properly. Most of it rushes straight through your system, sending you to the bathroom instead of fueling your cells where it's truly needed. If you dump a large amount in right before bed, you're likely to disrupt your sleep, forcing you to wake up in the night, lowering testosterone and undermining your body's natural rhythm of recovery. And let's talk about icy water. It may feel refreshing in the moment, but here's the hidden cost: your body has to burn energy just to warm it up. That's energy taken away from digestion, circulation, and performance. Over time, these small mistakes add up. You end up feeling tired, bloated, or worst of all, still dehydrated despite drinking water all day long. None of this is your fault. Most men have never been told the truth. Water, just like medicine, has a right way and a wrong way. Once you understand it, everything makes sense. The human body isn't designed for sudden shocks of water poured in all at once. It's built for steady, consistent hydration, enough to fuel every organ, every hormone, and yes, every erection. That's why the truth is this: simply drinking more water isn't enough. You need to drink it in a way your body can actually use. And when you do, the results can be extraordinary. Which brings us to the real heart of this message: the water habits that actually work. Habits most men have never heard of, but absolutely need to know if they want to restore their strength, stamina, and confidence. After decades of hearing men describe their struggles, I can tell you the problem usually isn't whether they're drinking water. It's that nobody ever taught them the right way to do it. And yes, there is a right way. The way you hydrate can mean the difference between dragging yourself through the day or feeling sharp, energized, and ready when the moment matters most. It might sound too simple to believe, but I've watched men's lives transform when they adjusted just a handful of hydration habits. The very first step I teach every patient is this: sip water slowly, don't gulp it down. Your body can only absorb small amounts at a time. When you slam back a full glass in seconds, most of it bypasses the very systems that should be fueling your cells. When you sip water slowly throughout the day, something powerful happens. Your blood stays at the right consistency, not too thick, not too thin. That means circulation flows smoothly, your heart doesn't strain, and erections become stronger and more dependable. It's not about overwhelming your body with gallons of water, it's about feeding it steadily, giving it exactly what it needs. The second habit may surprise you: sit down while drinking. Most men laugh when I mention it, but your body responds differently when you're calm and at rest. Sitting allows your digestive system to process more efficiently and your circulation to stabilize, including in the delicate blood vessels of the pelvic region. Many men have told me that when they tried this, their stomach felt lighter, their body more relaxed, and even their energy felt more balanced. The third habit comes from an ancient practice that modern science is finally starting to confirm: let the water touch and mix with your saliva before swallowing. Take a sip, hold it in your mouth for just a moment, and allow it to rest there. Your saliva is alkaline and full of enzymes that help prepare your body for absorption. Older men who have tried this often tell me they feel less bloated, less heavy, and more refreshed, almost as if their body itself was whispering, "Thank you." And finally, we come to temperature. Ice-cold water may feel invigorating in the moment, but there's a hidden cost. Your body has to spend valuable energy warming it up. That energy is stolen from digestion, circulation, and even performance. On the other hand, room temperature or slightly warm water supports smooth blood flow, easier digestion, and better nutrient absorption. It feels gentler because it truly is gentler, and your body can put it to work far more effectively. Individually, these habits may seem ordinary, but when combined, they create a ripple effect of transformation. They strengthen your circulation, stabilize your hormones, lift your energy, and restore confidence where it matters most. But there's another piece most men overlook, and it's just as critical as how you drink. It's when you drink. Timing can either fuel your body's natural rhythm or completely sabotage it. Over the years, I've seen men make the same mistake over and over. They assume hydration is only about how much water they drink. They think, as long as I hit my daily target, I'm fine. But the truth is, the timing of hydration makes all the difference. Take nighttime, for example. Many men chug large amounts of water right before going to bed, believing they're helping their health. But instead of benefit, what happens? They wake up 2, 3, even 4 times to run to the bathroom. Their sleep is broken into pieces, and by morning they feel drained instead of refreshed. What they don't realize is that those constant interruptions are stealing the deep restorative sleep cycles where testosterone is naturally produced. And without that steady testosterone, energy plummets, mood darkens, and sexual performance declines. It may feel like a small habit, but over time, this simple mistake can add up to a dramatic loss of vitality. Another mistake I see all the time is drinking large amounts of water immediately after meals. Your stomach depends on strong acids to break down food, and when you dilute those acids with big gulps of water, digestion slows to a crawl. Many men have told me they feel bloated, heavy, or unusually tired after eating, and when we dig deeper, it often traces back to this exact habit. The fix is simple: give your body a little time. By waiting at least 30 minutes after a meal before drinking, digestion becomes smoother, energy feels more stable, and that sluggish, weighed-down feeling no longer lingers into the evening. Even healthy foods like watermelon, cucumbers, or oranges loaded with water themselves can cause problems when you stack additional water on top. The truth is, your body can only handle so much liquid at once. Go beyond that limit, and you end up with poor absorption, wasted nutrients, and a stomach that feels uncomfortable instead of nourished. That's why one of the most overlooked secrets to hydration is balance. Learn to give your body space to process what you put in it. Water works best when it supports your natural rhythm, not when it overwhelms it. So when are the right times to drink? The best moments are the ones when your body is naturally asking for replenishment. First thing in the morning, to wake up circulation and flush your system after hours of rest. Mid-morning, to keep focus sharp and energy steady. Mid-afternoon, when your body often dips into fatigue and needs a lift. When you align with these natural rhythms, water stops being a chore and becomes a tool. You feel lighter, stronger, and more balanced physically and emotionally. Timing truly is everything. And once you respect your body's cycles, hydration transforms into one of the simplest tools for energy, strength, and intimacy. Of course, this leads to the question almost every man asks me sooner or later: "Doctor, how much water do I really need each day?" It's a fair question, especially since for years we've been bombarded with conflicting advice. Some say 8 glasses, others say half your body weight in ounces. Others still say drink only when you're thirsty. No wonder men are confused. Here's the truth: your body isn't a machine that follows a one-size-fits-all rule. Still, there are practical guidelines that work for most men. And once you learn to listen to your body's signals, you'll know if you're getting it right. In my years of practice, I've found that men over 60 thrive on about 2.5 to 3 liters of water per day. That usually works out to 10 to 12 glasses, spread evenly across the day. But remember, your personal needs depend on your body size, your activity level, and even the climate you live in. A man sweating under the blazing Arizona sun will need far more than a man staying cozy in a Minnesota winter. Your body is constantly talking to you, sending signals about what it needs. The challenge is learning how to hear them. The key is learning how to read the signals your body is already giving you. One of the simplest, most reliable indicators is right in front of you every day: the color of your urine. If it's a light pale yellow, that's the sweet spot. Your body is balanced and hydrated. If it's dark, that's a warning flag. Your body is literally begging you for more water. If it's completely clear all the time, that might surprise you. It often means you're drinking too much, washing out valuable electrolytes, and even putting extra strain on your kidneys. Hydration isn't just about pouring water in. It's about maintaining balance, and that balance looks a little different for every man. I'll never forget one gentleman in his late 60s. He was proud of the fact that he drank gallons of water every single day. He thought, if a little is good, then more must be better. But he came to me, exhausted, cramping, and frustrated because he was running to the bathroom all night long. His sleep was wrecked, his energy was unstable, and he couldn't figure out why. When we adjusted his routine, cutting back and spreading his water intake more evenly throughout the day, everything changed. The cramps disappeared, his sleep stabilized, and his energy returned. He finally understood that his body hadn't been thanking him for drowning it in water, it had been struggling to cope. So how much is enough? Enough to keep your energy steady, your urine a healthy pale yellow, and your body running smoothly without stress. It's less about chasing a magic number and more about creating consistency. Gentle, steady hydration keeps your blood flowing freely, your hormones balanced, and your body ready for intimacy when the moment calls. But here's something I want you to hear: even if you're drinking the right amount at the right times, it's easy to feel discouraged when your body doesn't perform the way it once did. And that's why science alone isn't enough. Reassurance matters just as much. So allow me to pause here and speak to you not only as a physician, but as someone who has sat face to face with thousands of men who felt exactly the way you might feel right now. I've seen men come into my office with a heaviness in their eyes. They tell me they don't feel like themselves anymore. They admit in whispers that their erections aren't what they used to be. Their energy feels like it's slipping away. Intimacy has started to feel more like pressure, even disappointment, rather than joy. Some even confess they've given up entirely, convinced that age has stolen something they can never recover. But I want to tell you the same truth I tell every single man. You are not broken. Your body is capable of so much more than you think, whether you're 60, 70, or beyond. I've seen men who believe their best days were long behind them reignite their energy, restore their passion, and rediscover a confidence they thought was gone forever. And it didn't happen because of a miracle pill or a secret supplement. The men I've seen transform didn't do it with complicated treatments or miracle fixes. They did it by making small, consistent choices that brought their bodies back into balance. Hydration was often the first step, but the real breakthrough came when they believed change was still possible. I know how easy it is to compare yourself to the man you used to be. Maybe you think back to the unstoppable energy you had in your 30 seconds, or the unshakable confidence you carried in your 40 seconds. And now the gap between who you were and how you feel today seems wider than ever. But here's the truth: that gap can be closed. Yes, your body has aged, but it still responds when you care for it. It still rewards you when you give it attention and the right habits. Every time you sip water the proper way, every time you choose to prioritize your health, you're sending a message to yourself: I'm not done. I still deserve vitality. I still deserve joy. I've watched men's faces light up with a mixture of relief and excitement when they realized their erections were growing stronger again. I've seen the pride in their eyes when they had the stamina to fully enjoy intimacy once more. And I've heard their partners describe how affection, closeness, and passion return to their relationship. That spark you think is gone, it isn't gone, it's still there, waiting to be uncovered. Decline is not your destiny. You are not sentenced to weakness or loss. You have the power to write a new chapter, one filled with energy, intimacy, and pride in yourself. Don't lose heart. The ability to improve is still in your hands. And if the reassurance I've shared has given you hope, the truth I'm about to tie together will give you clarity. Because everything we've talked about leads back to one undeniable fact. Water is not just about survival. It is the foundation of your entire health. Let's bring this all home. You've heard the science, the stories, and the practical habits. Now, let me say it the way I tell every patient who sits across from me: water is not just something you drink when you're thirsty. It is the lifeblood of your vitality, your strength, and yes, your sexual health. Every sip you take is a choice. A choice about how your blood will flow, how your hormones will stay balanced, and how much energy you'll carry into each day. I've seen men who believed their decline was permanent discover almost in shock that by respecting the role of hydration, they could feel alive again. Think about it, your blood, the very force that makes an erection possible, is mostly water. Without it, blood thickens, slows, and fails to reach where it's needed most. Your testosterone, the hormone that fuels your desire, your drive, and your strength, suffers when dehydration spikes cortisol and forces your body into stress mode. And your energy, the power that carries you through the day and into the night, drains away when your cells cry out for the water they're missing. So never underestimate this. Water isn't just keeping you alive, it's keeping you strong, confident, and capable of intimacy. It's not just a drink, it's the foundation for the man you still are and the man you can continue to be. What often begins as a small oversight, skipping a glass here, gulping water the wrong way there, or drinking at the wrong times quietly grows into a habit. And over the years, that habit chips away at your energy, your confidence, and your performance. But the reverse is just as true. When you slow down and sip water with intention, when you sit calmly and allow your body to receive it, blood flows more freely, energy rises, hormones fall into balance, and slowly you notice that spark of vitality returning. I've seen men stand taller, speak with greater certainty, and look at their partners with a gleam in their eyes they thought was gone forever. All because they made one simple shift, drinking water with purpose. The takeaway is both simple and profound. Water is not just about survival. It is performance. It is confidence. It is the quiet, overlooked key to intimacy that so many men are missing. And the best part? It's within your reach right now. No prescriptions, no complicated routines, just a glass of water consumed the right way. That one small act can ripple out into every part of your life, reminding you that health, vitality, and passion don't come with an expiration date. So as you sit with this truth, I want you to imagine what your life could look like if you truly embraced it. Because this isn't just a story about hydration, it's a story about renewal. It's proof that no matter your age, your body can respond, adapt, and thrive when you give it what it's been asking for all along. And that's what I want to leave you with. Conclusion. As we close this conversation, take a deep breath and let this settle into your mind. The secret to stronger erections, steady energy, and renewed confidence isn't hidden in expensive treatments or complicated prescriptions. It has been right in front of you the whole time. It's water, the simplest, most natural tool your body has relied on since the day you were born. For decades as a urologist, I've listened to men share their quiet fears, fatigue weighing them down. And time and again, I've seen how something as basic as proper hydration can completely change not just their health, but the way they view themselves as men. Together, we've walked through the science. We've seen how water powers blood flow and how without it, circulation slows and erections weaken. We've explored how hormones, especially testosterone, are thrown out of balance when dehydration raises stress and lowers desire. We've talked about fatigue, that invisible weight men carry through the day, and how drinking water the right way restores focus, strength, and vitality. And we've uncovered the most common mistakes: chugging at the wrong times, drinking too much before bed, or overwhelming the body when it can't absorb it. The message is clear: water isn't just a drink. It's the foundation of your health, your energy, and your manhood. We've replaced old mistakes with new habits: sipping water slowly, sitting calmly. As you drink, letting saliva begin the process of absorption, and choosing warmth over shock. We've seen that timing matters: morning, midday, and afternoon hydration that flows with your body's rhythm instead of against it. We've learned that success isn't measured by how many glasses you check off a list, but by listening to your body's signals, your energy, your focus, even the color of your urine. And beyond the science, we've reached something even deeper: the reminder that you are not broken. Your story is not finished. With the right care and intention, you can still reclaim vitality, intimacy, and joy. Here's the ultimate takeaway: water isn't just about survival, it's about thriving. It's about confidence, connection, and rediscovering the part of yourself you thought was gone. I've seen men in their 60 seconds, 70 seconds, and even 80 seconds revive their spark just by making these changes. And I believe with all my heart that you can too. So when this video ends and you pick up your next glass of water, remember, every sip is a step toward renewal. Every choice is a message to your body that you're still investing in your health, your strength, and your manhood. If something as simple as water can begin that transformation, Imagine what else becomes possible when you keep showing up for yourself. That, gentlemen, is the journey I invite you to step into. But before we wrap up, let me speak to you directly from the heart. If this message spoke to you, if even one part gave you clarity, reassurance, or hope, don't let it end here. Take a moment right now to support the brotherhood we are building together. When you like this video, you help it reach other men who need to know they're not alone and that real simple solutions are within their reach. When you share it, you could be giving a friend, a brother, or even a father the key to confidence, health, and intimacy they thought was gone. When you comment, whether it's just a quick "this helped me" or a personal story about your journey, you're not only speaking to me, you're encouraging every man who reads it to keep going. And if you feel inspired to go one step further, consider supporting this channel. Every contribution, no matter how small, helps me keep producing free, science-based health advice made specifically for men over 60. It keeps these videos accessible, practical, and focused on giving you the tools you deserve. Think of it as an investment not just in yourself, but in a community of men choosing strength, vitality, and renewal. So gentlemen, like, share, comment, and if you can, donate. Together we can keep this mission alive, helping men everywhere stay strong, confident, and empowered.